everyone, today I am finally sharing my Invisalign experience. I'm completely done. I'm going to be sharing my before, after, everything in between, how it works, my experience, do I think it's worth it? I actually went ahead and asked on Instagram if you guys had any specific questions because I've gotten so many questions over the past year, few months, the whole time I've been doing it. Everyone sent in such wonderful questions and I'm so excited to answer them all. I'm going to tell you how annoying it is to have Invisalign. Does it hurt? How much does it cost? How long did I do it? All of the things. I have my notes. Let's just do this. I want to do like a major hair flip. I don't know why. Hair is now unflipped. Let's do this. First things first, how long did it take? From the beginning of the process to the very end, refinement trays, it took me 7 months altogether. Originally, they told me 6 months. It went on to 7 months. I'll talk more about that later. But I started noticing results almost immediately. Like not like, oh, my teeth are so straight, but I saw movement like within the first week. It was incredible. Next up, why did I do it? What was my tooth situation? What did I not like? What did I want to change? I had braces when I was in middle school up to high school for a few years. My teeth weren't a complete disaster as a child, but they needed a little work. And I actually thought braces were really cute and really cool at the time, and I was pretty pumped to have them. So that was a great experience. After that, I was not very responsible and I didn't really wear my retainer. I lost a retainer. I got a new one, but then I didn't wear it. And over time, obviously a million years later, I'm 90 years old now, slowly but surely my teeth shifted on their own without using a retainer. So the main issues for me that I really wanted to see change with using Invisalign is on the bottom, my teeth kind of went crazy. And yeah, bottom teeth, it's not front and center. It's kind of okay, especially with the way that my mouth moves. Like you don't see my bottom teeth that much, but when I would smile, I had a little middle tooth that wanted to be the star of the show. And it was like, hey guys, way higher than all the other teeth on the bottom. So that was my main issue. It wasn't so much that they were crooked, but that one tall tooth that was like trying to get the attention of everyone. Didn't love that. My solution was like, let's just shave it down. Everybody looked at me like I was crazy when I would say those things to like dentists and stuff. So I kind of let that idea go. And the other problem area that I needed to deal with were my front two teeth. They were spreading apart slowly but surely. So all in all, I didn't have like the worst teeth in the world. It was not a huge issue in my life, but it was just something that I was like, you know what? That could be a little bit better, and I feel like Invisalign will be an easier way to fix this compared to any of the other ways, like braces or like getting veneers or something drastic like that. I'd been thinking about doing Invisalign for a really long time, but I needed to get my wisdom teeth removed. I had all these things I needed to do before I could actually do Invisalign, so it was a long time coming, and I went for Invisalign over braces just because I was not really going for that look. I think that's the biggest thing. Like either they tell you you can't have Invisalign if you want it just because your teeth just aren't eligible. Someone has to look at you and tell you like, okay, we can achieve the look you want with Invisalign, or you need braces. It's a personal choice. I wasn't going for that look, so I went for Invisalign. Some people asked. Next up, how does it work? I got my Invisalign through my orthodontist, which was recommended from my dentist. I know there are a lot of companies out there like Smile Direct where you can just order the trays straight from the company and you do it all at home and you don't have to go to doctors or anything like that. And I thought about that, but I just got a little bit nervous and I felt like the safer choice would be to go into the orthodontist and have them check my teeth along the way just to make sure everything went smoothly. I guess I was just a little anxious about the process. I can't really say if Smile Direct is like 100% cool or what, but this is what I did. I went to the orthodontist and you go to a consultation, they take pictures and they actually do a scan of all your teeth using this little device that just runs over your teeth on the front and the back, and they get this like 3D image on the computer and it looks really cool. It's so strange. It's completely painless and everything, but I don't know, it just seemed very futuristic and cool and I enjoyed that part. And they send that off to Invisalign as well as like whatever you want to change. Like whenever I talked about the gap in my teeth, they're like, do you want to keep that or what? Because like, hey, if you like the gap in your teeth but you want to straighten something else up, you can totally do that. It is customizable. And so they send that information off to Invisalign, which I could be wrong. I think it's in Costa Rica, and that's basically how it happens. So I can totally understand why that whole like Smile Direct business model has developed, because that's basically what the orthodontist is doing. They just send it off and then they send all the trays for your whole treatment to them. And then you get your trays from the doctor. That process does take a little time. So this is not like oh, you go into the dentist and like you come out with your Invisalign. That's like, no, that's not how it works. It takes a little bit of time. It could vary person to person, but for me, it took time. Then when you go back to get your trays, you get your attachments. Attachments, they're a whole thing. I got questions about those specifically, and I will tell you more about that later. You get your attachments, which are basically like little bumps that the trays can grip onto. That sounds so weird, and it is. But you get those, you get your first trays, and the way it worked for me was they'd give me 3 sets of trays at a time, and I would wear each tray set for 2 weeks each. So the first trays, you wear them 2 weeks, and then you switch out to the next ones. And then 2 weeks later, you switch out to the next ones. And then after 6 weeks, I would go to the orthodontist. They'd do a little check. We'd talk about everything. They'd give me my next trays. After about 2 or 3 months, I can't remember exactly how long it took, they switched me to a 10-day plan. So it wasn't 14 days, 2 weeks anymore. It was just 10 days. So it was a little bit harder to calculate, but I was really glad because that sped up my whole treatment time. And I actually didn't really feel like I was getting that much movement during the end part of the 2 weeks. So doing that 10-day period totally worked for me. And for the people that were concerned about having to go to the doctor so much, it wasn't a big problem for me. Going every 6 weeks wasn't a big deal, and the appointments were always super short, and everybody at my orthodontist was like super, super nice, and the office was really close, so it really wasn't a problem for me. Okay, this next one is very important. How annoying is the process? It's very annoying. It is the most annoying thing in the world, and that was like the first thing I would tell anybody that asked me about it as I was going through it. Like, this is so annoying. For me, it was more annoying than having actual braces. Like, maybe I'm saying that because like everything looks a little better in hindsight, but just having something on your teeth, it's not thick. I actually brought mine. Bring these out for a visual aid immediately. So you know what the trays look like. They're not big, they're not bulky, they're definitely not thick, they're flexible. You just don't think that this is gonna be so annoying in your mouth, but you constantly feel it. You never just feel like, oh, this is my mouth. No, it's always just like, I can't wait to take these off. Or at least that's how I felt. And I feel like I get used to things, and when I want something badly, like say, oh, I really wanna get a piercing in my ear or something like that, I am cool with the pain. I'm like, hey, this is what comes with it. I have to clean it, I have to do whatever, all of that. And that was the exact same attitude I had going into Invisalign, and I just never got over how annoying it was to have this big thing of plastic covering your teeth. It's so weird. It's such a strange sensation. It makes your teeth feel so big. And you're supposed to keep these things in your mouth for 22 hours a day. Actually, I think some people say 23. I heard 22. I didn't always do 22. I have to be totally honest. I was not like a star Invisalign patient. I did my best, but sometimes you just can't make that work. I hope my orthodontist is not watching this video. You also have to take these out every time you eat or drink anything but plain water. And I didn't really think that was gonna be so annoying going into it. I was like, I don't snack that much. This won't be a big deal. I always just drink water. It wasn't horrible, but it was annoying, especially in times when I was like working in the office. And so people would just be like, oh, do you want this cookie? Do you want this snack? Whatever. And I was always just like, ugh, I do not feel like popping this out, brushing my teeth after, and like it being a whole thing, because every little snack became a whole thing, and you don't realize how much you snack even if you are not a big snacker. Also, when you're traveling, like if you have a long flight, you're kind of screwed. If you want to have a snack, you have to go to the bathroom, take them out, and then you have to like try to brush your teeth with like a bottle of water. Nightmare situation. Doable, but definitely not fun. So I would just end up like trying to avoid having snacks and everything, and that is no way to live. I mean, obviously, if you want to do it, if you want to have straight teeth, you just have to like accept these things. But the truth is, it is annoying. We're going to someone's house, you don't really want to be like popping out your trays, because it's not something discreet. It is not something you can do with grace. It is not a ladylike experience. When you pop them out, there is spit and slobber. It is a wet, gross mess. It's not pretty every single time. It's not something you can just like pop out and like no one's looking. No, you're putting on a show every single time. It's not great. I thought it would just be like, oh, well, you know, you just gotta take it out, like no big deal. Not as easy as I thought, unfortunately. But I say all these things, but obviously I put up with it. It was annoying, but it's not the biggest thing in the world. It's not the end of the world. Like, you just have to put up with these mild annoyances for however many months, and then you're done with it and you get your straight teeth and everything's good. But I just had to be real with you. It is very annoying. Another question that I got a whole lot was, how much does it cost? Unfortunately, I do not have an exact number for you guys. I had a whole sheet with like a summary of the whole payment and all of that business. I do not have that anymore, and I cannot remember the exact number, but I can tell you it was somewhere in like the upper 3,000 range. I do have something that's kind of like dental insurance that took the price down pretty considerably, and I was really happy about that. But then again, knowing the price from me doesn't really help you guys that much, because I know it varies a lot. It probably varies on like where you live, who you're going to, if you're doing like Smile Direct or you're doing Invisalign, you're going through an orthodontist, or how much work you have to have done on your teeth. So that was my experience, but it could be totally different for you. The next biggest question was, is it painful or uncomfortable? Good news, I had no pain. Invisalign was not painful for me at all. I felt pressure on my teeth, but it didn't hurt. It was the weirdest thing ever. I was totally mentally prepared for it to feel like braces, because when I had braces, every time they would adjust them, I would have like a little bit of soreness for maybe a day or two. Nothing unmanageable, but I would definitely feel it. I feel like I do have a higher pain tolerance, but for some reason I had zero pain with Invisalign. Actually, only one time I had a little bit of soreness, and I think it was just a special kind of situation. One week when I popped open one of my little bags, which they give you all these little bags that have all your trays in them, one of the trays was kind of misshapen on one of the teeth, and so it didn't fit on it, and I couldn't make it in. So I called them and they said just jump ahead to the next tray. So I was jumping ahead like 10 days and completely bypassing that set of trays. And because of that, my teeth were kind of sore, but it really wasn't that big a deal, and it went away after I think like a day. The bad news is I would not say it's comfortable. You always feel it on your teeth. Your teeth always feel a little bit bigger. And one thing that always happened to me was if I was talking, especially just like, you know, just blabbing and rambling and everything, my lip would end up getting caught on the top edge of the Invisalign. It's not completely smooth. It never was too rough on me. It never caused any sores or anything like that. I've heard other people say that, but it would just slightly get hung up, and I'd just be like, it was just annoying and uncomfortable. It made me feel awkward. It was just not a great feeling. Next up, what's up with the attachments? I got a few different questions about the attachments, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, they add these little buttons, or they call them buttons, which is a really cute name, but it is not a cute thing. I will try to find a good picture or a video that, you know, really shows where my attachments were. I was lucky and they only put them on the sides of my teeth. There weren't any on my front teeth, but that totally depends on your situation and what they're trying to do in your mouth, because those are the like kind of pressure points where the trays really lock on, but they're just like little bumps, and they try to make them blend in with your teeth, but nobody really has that on their teeth. And it's not that they're the wrong color or anything, but it sticks out. It looks weird. So even when you're like, oh, I'm gonna be a normal person, I'm gonna sound like a normal person and everything, and you don't wear your Invisaligns, you still have these bumps on your teeth. There's something funky going on in your mouth at all times, no matter what. When they attached the attachments, it didn't hurt. It wasn't a painful process. Just like with the trays, sometimes my lip would get a little bit hung up on the attachment on the sides of my teeth, the ones that are more up front, and that was kind of annoying. When I was wearing lipstick, even if I didn't have my trays on, sometimes they would get lipstick on it. That was annoying. Attachments are not pretty. I can totally understand why they're necessary, but they're not really like the prettiest part of doing Invisalign, and they definitely don't help with the invisible look. Because, I mean, I think we all know at this point, Invisalign are not invisible. Yes, they are much more invisible than braces, but they make your teeth really shiny, and then you have these bumps. And once you put a shiny coat of plastic over the bumps, they're even more defined. It's not the end of the world, like I said. No one's gonna be like, what's wrong with your teeth? If they're saying that to you, it's maybe more their problem than your problem, but it's just, they're not invisible. They are very visible. Next, does it make you talk funny? In my experience, yes, definitely the whole time. I hope you're having a happy Friday Eve so far. I just uploaded a new video and it is a Halloween tutorial. It's my first one of the year. So many people told me like, oh yeah, just like for the first week, first few days, like maybe just the first month, but no, for the whole time, I did not sound like myself. It did get better over time. At the beginning, I was embarrassed. I was like, I have a lisp. What am I going to do? I'm supposed to have this in my mouth all the time and I sound so different and I didn't love it. I didn't know how that was gonna go, but I paid all this money. You just gotta go with it and you've gotta make it work. And I feel like I did, but I couldn't film videos. I never wanted to film like sit down videos like this with my Invisalign in. I did sometimes vlog with them in, but I never felt like I sounded 100% like myself. And that definitely bothered me, but it could just be a me thing since so many other people say they get rid of the lisp really fast. Could just be me. I was really unlucky with it, but that was definitely another annoying part about it for me. Next question, what if you forget to wear them? Did you ever forget to wear them? Yes, I did. I think that just happens in life. Mistakes are made. They will make it seem like it's the end of the world, but it's really not. But it is so crazy when you just have them out for a couple of hours, you feel a difference. Your teeth shift so quickly for the better and also for the worse. It's not like, oh, if you have them out for an hour, your teeth are gonna go back to being really crooked or like they originally were, or anything like that. But it's almost like your teeth are slightly loose. That sounds horrible and it is a very strange feeling, but it's like since your teeth are shifting so much, they're just kind of like in a wiggly state. And when you have them out, they start to move. Next up, do I have to keep wearing my trays for maintenance? This probably depends on what your situation is, but with my orthodontist, I don't have to keep wearing my trays. They gave me 2 retainers. I have one retainer on the bottom back of my teeth on the bottom, and then I have one retainer that's between my front 2 teeth that just holds together those front 2 teeth. That one is kind of annoying and I probably wouldn't suggest other people get that one, but I needed it. And they also made me a retainer that I wear at night that kind of looks like my Invisalign trays, but they're thicker and more tough and harder. They're not uncomfortable at all. This one is my bottom tray and this is actually my top tray. It's really, really short because like I said, I got my wisdom teeth out and then I had to get an implant in the back here. So my original retainer that went over my top teeth didn't fit anymore. And so we just made like a little edit. I have to get a new one, but I just have to wear these at night and I don't even have to wear them all the time. I am so happy that they did the permanent retainer, especially on the bottom for me, because that just like, I wish they had done that for me when I got my braces off, but for whatever reason they didn't. I feel like that is just like my safety net. And I pretty much was like, I have to have this. Like, I have to have it. Another really interesting question I got was, did I have to have any teeth filed down or shaved to complete the process even after I was done with all my trays? I thought this was a really interesting question because this is not something that I thought was part of the process at all, but I did have to have a little bit of filing, a little bit of shaving. So after I was done with all of my original trays, the tooth that was a little bit taller was still kind of stuck a little bit back behind 2 teeth. And so they had to go in between 2 of the teeth with just like a very fine, it was like the width of a sheet of paper and just slightly go like this, just like this much, just the tiniest bit. I was kind of like, I had the heebie-jeebies thinking about someone like filing my teeth, but it was only the tiniest amount and that was just to allow a little bit of room for it to push forward. And then whenever I was completely done, I felt like that tooth was still just a little bit taller and they like shaved down just a little bit off the top. Overall, my teeth are not perfect, but I'm happy because I got the improvement that I wanted. I am not kind of like a perfectionist. I don't feel like anyone really cares ultimately. I'm happy with the way they look and I really didn't want any more trays. I didn't want to wear Invisalign anymore, so I was totally cool with just like a little bit of shaving. And I don't know how common that is for other people or if everybody has to go through that, but there are limitations when you're doing Invisalign over braces. braces. You can do different movements and different adjustments when you're doing braces that you just can't do with Invisalign. So that's something to know going into it and just to manage your expectations. The next important question is, what do I wish they had told me before I started? And this was actually a question coming from somebody that's in the dental field, so I thought that was really interesting. Thank you for asking. And I think the thing that I would have really liked to know is that the trays stain. Even if you play by all the rules, and obviously you do not eat with them in your mouth, you don't drink anything but water with them in your mouth, and I didn't, and you brush your teeth before you put them back on, every single time they stain, no matter what, especially when you're doing the full 2-week term. Once I reduced it down to 10 days, I noticed it a little bit less, but like, even if you're playing by all the rules, cleaning them the way that they tell you to, like I was playing by all the rules and they would still look a little yellow compared to the new trays. Like when I would get out my new trays and hold my old ones next to them, I was like, ew, these look dirty. Like this is so gross. It wasn't like something like that made my teeth look super yellow or anything, but it was just kind of nasty. And I don't really know if there's anything you can do. I think that some people would use like retainer bright, like a retainer cleanser, or you know, like those little tablets and different things like that, or like a jewelry cleaner. I've heard about other people doing that. My orthodontist said not to do that, so I didn't. I'm still not sure what's the safest thing to do, but once I reduced it down to 10 days, I experienced that less and it didn't bother me as much. But still, I would have liked to know that going into it. So now the ultimate question, was it worth it? Would I do it all over again? And I definitely would. I definitely think it was worth it. Yes, it was uncomfortable, it was annoying, it was a hassle, but of course it was. You have to like put something in your mouth to change your teeth. You have to go through a major change to get the result that you want. And I was more than willing to do that. I felt like it was totally worth it to do that instead of traditional braces because I wasn't going for that look. And now I'm really happy with the results. Looking back at the before and afters and seeing the way my teeth used to look, I didn't really have that big of a problem with my teeth. Like even now thinking about it, I'm like, I'm actually surprised I went through with it because I didn't hate the way my teeth looked. I was just kind of annoyed with that bottom tooth and I wanted to change that. And that's why it took me so long to actually do it. But now seeing the difference with my teeth today, I'm so happy I did it. It just made such a big difference in my smile. I do feel a little bit more confident about being on camera and stuff. I know nobody else cares about the way my teeth look, but just like editing my own videos and editing my pictures and stuff like that, I don't see that little tall tooth on the bottom, and I'm happy with the results, and I would definitely do it again if I had the chance. But I'm glad I do not have to do it again. Actually, no. This is kind of like a part 2 of is it worth it? Would I do it again, or would I recommend it? This question was very interesting. She said, if I were her, would I recommend having my 14-year-old child do it instead of regular braces? I'd have to say, if your 14-year-old child is anything like me at 14, not the most responsible, not the most like playing by the rules, I would not trust them with that responsibility because it is something you have to continuously keep up with. You have to do so much maintenance. You have to be worrying about your trays. You cannot lose your trays. It is an expensive process and it does take a lot of maturity. Well, not a lot of maturity, but I don't know. I think at 14, I probably wouldn't have handled it. It's really good that they like connected that stuff to my teeth so I couldn't lose it because I probably would have. So it's all up to you on knowing how mature your 14-year-old is, but it could totally work for them, obviously. All right, guys, I really hope this was helpful and I answered a lot of your questions. If you have any more questions, definitely just leave them down below. I will do my best to answer them. I know I complained a lot in this video, but I do feel like it was a really positive experience for me. I'm happy with my results, and if you're interested in it, do your research, do a consultation, and just go for it. I think it was worth it. Even though it's annoying, even though it's uncomfortable, even though all of those things, I did have a good experience. And again, I hope this was helpful for you guys. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed. If you have subscribed, thank you so much. You are my people and I love you. You can find me on social media. It's LeighAnnSays everywhere. You can come say hey over there. I love talking to you guys. And as always, thank you so much for watching and I'll see you guys next time. Bye everyone. Seriously, this glitter will not go away. Go, friend. You are not wanted here. Woo! I just wanted to say, this is the tea on Invisalign, but I'm not gonna say that. Pretend I didn't say that. It's like show and tell time, but you're looking at my mouth.